Hi friends, it's Jennifer with the Lamb Library, and I have a special friend with me today. Would you like to meet him? Right here he is. This is my friend, Freddie the Frog. That's right. So as you might guess, we are going to be talking about frogs today in Storytime. But first, Freddie, should we say hello to all our friends? Can you wave hello? Sing our hello song? Are you guys ready? Hello, my friends, hello. Hello, my friends, hello. With our friends at story time. Hello, my friends, hello. We wave and sing hello. We wave and sing hello. With our friends at story time, we wave and sing hello. All right, now the reason we are talking about frogs today, besides the fact that there are lots of cute frog stories and they are interesting, today is National Frog Jumping Day. And this is named for a famous short story written by Mark Twain about the frog jumping contest in Calaveras County. And so now, as a result of that short story, there are lots of frog jumping contests all over the country this week. And the biggest one is in Calaveras County, California. So, have you ever competed in a jumping contest, Freddie? And how did you do? Did you win? But that's okay. Did you have fun? Yeah. That's most important, is that you try your best and have fun, right? That's right. Okay. So, one neat thing about frogs is that they undergo, and now this is going to be a big word. Are you ready for it? Metamorphosis. Do you know what that means? Metamorphosis is when you have an animal who in their early stages, like when they're a baby, they look completely different than when they are an adult. So like if you look at people, like a baby human still looks very similar to an adult human. You can tell they are the same creature. But frog babies don't look anything like frog adults. So would you like to see how that happens? All right. Ready? I'm going to let you sit over here while I get this book out to show everyone. So this is called a nonfiction book. So instead of a story, it gives you information. And these are really great books to read too because they help you learn new words and new ideas and new facts and can make you very knowledgeable. And that will help you with reading later. Did you know that? The more words you know, the easier it will be to learn to read when you're older. So here we see the frogs. All right. Now on this page, we see the frog eggs. So they are clear with little black specks in the middle. And then in a few days, you can see the baby starting to grow. But does that look anything like a frog to you? Nope, it looks a little more like a fish, but it's not a fish. It's a baby frog. And when they hatch out, this is what they look like. And these are called tadpoles. And you see they have a head and a tail, no legs. And instead of breathing air like the grown-up frog, they have these little gills. And here you can see it better in this picture that let them breathe through the water just like fish do. But they're not fish. They're frogs, and frogs are amphibians. That means they live part of their life in the water and part on land. So when they're babies, they're in the water and they swim and they breathe through gills. And then as you see, as they get bigger, their gills get covered over and their lungs start growing where they can breathe air. You see these guys are nibbling on a little worm, but somebody is thinking about nibbling on them. They better watch out. And as they get older, look, their back legs start to sprout out here. And then later, their front legs too. And they start to look more like a frog, but They still have a tail. Their tail gets shorter and shorter until it finally disappears. And then they are a grown-up frog. And they breathe air through lungs, and they stay on land much of the time, but they always like to live near water. So that is their metamorphosis. And later this summer, we'll learn about another animal that undergoes metamorphosis. So see if you can remember what that word means for the next time we talk about it. All right, who is ready for a story now? We had our information. Now let's have a story. So if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, a froggy story. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, say ribbit, ribbit. If you're ready for a story, say ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. If you're ready for a story, a froggy story. If you're ready for a story, say ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. If you're ready for a story, nod your head. If you're ready for a story, nod your head. If you're ready for a story, a froggy story. If you're ready for a story, nod your head. Now, if you're ready for a story, say shh. If you're ready for a story, say shh. If you're ready for a story, a froggy story. If you're ready for a story, say shh. All right. Now, this first story is One Frog Sang. And it was written by Shirley Parento and illustrated by Cynthia Jabbar. And this is a counting story. We are going to count, and we're going to learn about lots of different sounds frogs make. There are lots of different species of frogs. Some are big, some are little, some are green, some are different colors, and they have lots of different sounds. They don't all say ribbit. So one frog sang. So here we go, and we usually hear them in the evening. Are you ready? So all the frogs hunkered down low while spring rain stormed by. Then, when the storm was over and the night became still, one big frog leaped up onto a high garden wall, sucked in air, and blew out a song. Kabloop. Have you ever heard frogs sound like that? Kabloop. Two tiny frogs, you see those up there, joined in from the window pane, shrieking, beep, beep, in voices as loud as a crowd. So they're little bitty frogs, but they have very high, loud voices. Then 1, 2, 3 young frogs sang, ribbit, ribbit, from a puddle in the middle of the path. And you'll notice all these frogs look very different from each other. Then 4 spotted frogs sang chirp, chirp from a tree trunk, hanging onto the bark. Can you see the little bitty frogs there? And then we have 5 frogs saying ruby, ruby from a bird bath where a mirror moon swam. See the reflection of the moon in the bird bath? Then we have 6 green frogs chorused reedy, reedy from the mossy walls inside the wishing well. And 7 frogs sang deep, burp, blurp, from the side of the road where it curved out of sight. See the frogs in the grass there? 8 bullfrogs boomed, whoop, whoop, from water running dark beneath the bridge. See the 8 big bullfrogs. 9 green frogs puffed out their throats to sing, greedy, greedy, like bumps on a log. See all the frogs on a log? 10 frogs trilled, beep, 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 from the lily pad shining in a pool. Grunts and croaks, chirps and ribbits, low and deep, high and shrill. All the frogs sang for love until one car splashed down the wet street, wheels sloshing along the pavement. Then 10 frogs stopped peeping from the lily pads. 9 frogs plopped off the floating log. 8 frogs peeked from the dark beneath the bridge. So the car is scaring them all, isn't it? They're all hiding. 7 frogs plunged into the high grass without a rustle to show where they had hid. 6 frogs hushed inside the mossy wishing well. 5 frogs crouched like stones on the bottom of the bird bath. 4 frogs pretended to be part of the bark on the tree, so they have camouflage to help them hide. 3 frogs huddled in the puddle on the path. 2 frogs slipped down the glassy window pane, and 1 frog sprang from the high garden wall. The engine rumble faded. Only the wind made a sound, whispering across the grass. The moon wandered down on the stillness until 1 frog leaped onto the high garden wall and began to sing, "Kabloop, kabloop." And they all started all over again. The end. So we get to see there are lots of different sizes of frogs. Some are big, some are little, some are green, some are brown, some have spots, some have stripes, and they all say different sounds. So sometime in the evening, especially if you live close to where there's any water, you should listen and see if you can hear the frogs singing. So we had a counting story, and if you remember in that story, there were a bunch of frogs sitting like bumps on a log. Well, we are going to do a counting song with 5 frogs sitting on a log. So here is our log on my magnet board. And so we need 5 frogs. Can you help me count? Make sure I get them all on there. We have 1 frog. We have 2 frogs. We have 3 frogs. 4. And 1 more makes 5. So we have 5 frogs. Now, what color are our frogs? That's right, they're green. And do they have stripes? No. Do they have spots? We have little spots we might call speckles. So we have 5 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log. And what do frogs eat? That's right, they eat most delicious bugs. And then we also have a pool of water, which I did not have room for on my board, but it is down here on the table where you can't see it. And they will jump into the pool. We're going to start with 5. Let's get our counting fingers ready. Are you ready? So 5 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. 1 jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are 4 green speckled frogs. Ribbit, ribbit. Now how many? 4 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are 3 green speckled frogs. Ribbit, ribbit. 3 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are 2 green speckled frogs. Ribbit, ribbit. 2 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there is 1 green speckled frog. Ribbit, ribbit. 1 green and speckled frog sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. He jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs. All right, let's do that one more time. That's a fun song. So let's get all our froggies up here really quick. I hope you'll sing it with me this time. All right, so here we go. 5 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are 4 green speckled frogs. Ribbit, ribbit. 4 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are 3 green speckled frogs. Ribbit, ribbit. 3 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are 2 green speckled frogs. Ribbit, ribbit. 2 green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool, swoosh, where it was nice and cool. Now there is 1 green speckled frog. Ribbit, ribbit. 1 green and speckled frog sitting on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. She jumped into the pool, splash, where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs. All right, isn't that fun? I hope you like that. And if you pick up one of our early literacy kits while supplies last at the Lamb Library, guess what? You get your own set of green frogs. 5 green frog cutouts. And guess what? You get a sheet of stickers so you can put your own speckles on them, whatever colors you like, and make your own 5 green and speckled frogs. All right, we have one more story. Now, this one is really cute. This is called The Frog with the Big Mouth. Now, sometimes a big mouth can mean literally that you have a large mouth. Sometimes we say someone has a big mouth because they talk a lot, or they say things they shouldn't say, or they like to brag. So let's see how they mean it in this story. And this is from an old folk tale, and this version is told by Teresa Bateman, and the pictures are by Will Terry. And look at all the scenery. Isn't that pretty? Now, this story takes place in the rainforest in Central or South America. So we will see some animals that you might not be familiar with. So we'll get to learn some new words maybe. Remember, learning new words helps us when it's time to learn to read later. So the frog with the big mouth. Once there was a frog who lived in the rainforest by Iguazu Falls, where Argentina meets Brazil. He was a young frog, a new frog, a barely more than a pollywog frog. And pollywog is another word for tadpole, which we just talked about earlier. He was barely more mouth. He was more mouth than body or brain, and still had much to learn. And there he is. Because when you're young, you still have a lot of things left to learn. One day, while eating with his family, he caught a big fly. The way they catch bugs, they shoot out their long, sticky tongue and catch them. Can you do that? Just like a frog? So he got a huge fly, an enormous fly. He opened his mouth up wide, 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 and gulped it down. Gulp. Look at me, he cried with a braggy bounce. I'm the frog with the big mouth. I've eaten the biggest fly in the whole world. Don't you wish you were me? His brothers and sisters shrugged and kept on eating. They weren't too impressed, were they? But he thinks he really did something. So the frog with the big mouth set out to find someone else he could impress. Soon he caught sight of something with a bright orange bill and feathers. The two eyes opened above the orange bill and blinked at him. Hello, I'm the frog with the big mouth, he said. With a happy hop, I've eaten the biggest fly in the whole world. It's clear I've got the other frogs beat. Who are you, and what do you like to eat? Well, said the bird, I'm a toko toucan. I eat mostly fruit and eggs, sometimes seeds, and sometimes a tasty spider will suit my needs. But I don't really chase flies, big ones or small. No, flies don't interest me at all. Flies don't interest me either, at least not for food. Too bad, said the frog with the big mouth. Don't you wish you were me? And he continued down the path. So off he goes. Try to impress somebody else. Suddenly, a creature with a narrow, triangular nose peeked out of a bush and sniffed at him. It had small ears, a furry body, and a long, stripy tail. The frog was a little nervous, but that didn't stop him. Hello, I'm the frog with the big mouth, he said with a little leap. I've eaten the biggest fly in the whole wide world. I've got the other frogs and the toucan beat. Who are you, and what do you like to eat? What do you think this animal is? The furry creature climbed up a nearby tree and said, I'm a coati. I eat fruit and termites, sometimes mice. Roots and lizards are also nice. I tried flies once, if I recall, but now flies don't interest me at all. So this is a coati, and they are related to raccoons. They have a longer nose. Too bad, said the frog with the big mouth. Don't you wish you were me? Now, I doubt the other animals really wish they were him just because he ate a big fly. He continued along the path looking for others to amaze. Soon he came to a pond. A head poked out of the water. Then a big, brown, furry creature pulled himself onto the shore. Hello, I'm the frog with the big mouth, said the frog with a jubilant jump. I've eaten the biggest fly in the whole world. I've got the other frogs, toko toucan and coati beat. Who are you, and what do you eat? What do you think that animal is? The animal shook a little water from his fur and said, I'm a capybara. And that's kind of like a giant guinea pig. I eat leaves and plants that grow in the water. Grass and such are my favorite fodder. I don't eat flies, big ones or small. No, flies just don't interest me at all. Too bad, said the frog with the big mouth. Don't you wish you were me? By now, the frog was getting a little tired, but he kept hopping along, wanting to brag just a little bit more before heading home. Then he stopped. In the path, something moved. It was speckled and twisty and blocking his way. He hopped over the twitchy thing and followed it. What do you think that is? You think it's a tail? I think so too. What do you think that tail belongs to? Let's find out. Until he came to a furry, spotted body and a large head that turned to look at him. So that's the animal the tail belonged to. The strange creature smiled, showing sharp teeth. But that didn't stop the frog. Hello, I'm the frog with the big mouth, he said with a saucy skip. I've eaten the biggest fly in the whole world. I've got the other frogs, the toucan, coati, and capybara beat. Who are you, and what do you eat? The creature stood and stretched. His tail twitched faster. I'm a jaguar. That's a kind of cat. What do you think jaguars eat? You know what it means when cats twitch their tail really fast? Usually means they're about to pounce on something. Jaguar purred. Coatis and toucans are nice to chew. Oh, and I eat capybaras too. Oh no. I don't eat flies, big ones or small. No, flies don't interest me at all. But my favorite type of food, can you guess? My favorite type of food is a big mouthed frog. Oh no, and here is one now. What's going to happen? Is the jaguar going to eat the big mouth frog? Did he brag to the wrong person? Let's see. Oh, and the frog with the big mouth gulped. And without thinking, took a stupendous spring and jumped high over the jaguar's head and into a nearby tree. Oh, he barely got away. Jaguar almost got him. Look at me, he cried. I'm the frog with the big jump. Don't you wish you were me? He leaped from the branch, hurrying home to tell his brothers and sisters and anyone else along the way. So, did he learn a lesson about bragging and talking to strangers? I don't think so. He went from bragging about eating the biggest fly, and now he's bragging about the biggest jump. The end. Now, there are lots of different versions of this folktale, so you might want to check out some of the others from the library and see how they compare and see what different animals they have. I know there's one version that has African animals. There is another version that has different kinds of animals. So that is a really fun one. All right, and that is all we have time for today. So let's bring our friend Freddie the Frog back. Now, before we sing our goodbye song, we have an announcement to make. We are going to be taking a Storytime break for the next 3 weeks so we can work on planning for things for summer. But we will start back with our next Storytime at Lamb on June 9th, Wednesday, June 9th at 10:30. And for the big news, we are going to try doing in-person story time again, but we will do it outside where we can still social distance and be a little safer. weather permitting. So I hope you'll be able to join me. I'd love to meet some of my little friends in person, and it is so much more fun when we can do story time together and see each other. So I hope you'll join me then. And until then, you can still enjoy virtual story times from some of our other locations on their Facebook pages or on the main library page. And all throughout the summer, there will be a weekly story time on Tuesdays. I believe it will be at 11. Double check on that, but it will definitely be on Tuesdays. Every week, it will be a virtual story time system-wide on all the social media, where we will have special story time, and there will be a craft to go along with it that you can pick up at your branch. So you'll have those starting the beginning of June, and then we will also have hopefully a live in-person outdoor story time at Lamb on Wednesdays. So I will see you then, and you can still come by to Lamb Library and pick up your early literacy kit. In addition to our monthly newsletter that has lots of activities, there are 3 different songs that go along with our frog theme you can do at home, including the 5 green and speckled frogs. There's also a counting song in Spanish and another fun song about a frog and an alligator. And in addition to the 5 green and speckled frogs that you can make to go along with your song at home, there's also materials to make this little bouncy frog craft. So you get to practice gluing, and you can decorate your frog and your lily pad how you want, and you will learn how to make a cool paper spring to help your frog bounce. So again, these are in our early literacy kits, only at the Lamb Library and while supplies last. All right, shall we say goodbye to our friends, Freddie? All right, are you ready? Can everybody wave goodbye? Story time is over, wave goodbye. Story time is over, wave goodbye. Story time is done, and we hope that you had fun. Story time is over, wave goodbye. All right, take care, and the next time I see you, it will be summer.